Okay, getting to the end of these. Vertex form of quadratic function. I think I talked about this before we left. I can't remember that far back, though. This one, okay, we still got our parabolas, high parabola. And you see it's of the form a times x minus h quantity squared plus k. We've seen this before with the absolute value. There's the a, that determines the slope somewhat. How far does it go up or down, and how fast does it go up or down? That's what the a is doing. The h is the vertical shift, and the k, horizontal shift. H is horizontal shift, sorry. And the k is the vertical shift. H moves it left, right. K moves it up, down. Okay, now that's all well and good, but how do we find out what h and k are from the standard form? Well, I have a little formula over here. So, okay, this one you're going to use all the time. H equals negative b over 2a. So if we take the a, b's, and c's from the quadratic from the standard form, we can plug them in here and find out what h is. Now k is a lot easier to take whatever you get here and plug it back into the original equation. But there is a second formula over here that you can use to find out what the k is. I will be honest, I never use it, but every time I see it, I recognize it as being part of the quadratic formula, something I'll talk to you about Algebra 2 a lot more about. Okay, next. All right, so here we go. This is this parabola right here. So, okay. H is equal to negative b over 2a. I think that's where we start. There we go. Negative b over 2a. Okay, so a, b, and c. A is 1/2. B is negative 3/2. Make sure you keep the negative sign coming along for the ride. So A is 1/2, B is negative 3/2, and C is 2. So I have negative B over 2A. So negative 3/2. There we go. Negative 3/2. And then 2 times 1/2. That's supposed to be 1/2. There's a little line right there. So 2 times 1/2, well, that's just 1. And negative, that's positive. So I have 3/2 over 1, which is just 3/2. So now I know the x-coordinate of the vertex is at 3/2, which looks to be about right. I'd say that's right in between 1 and 2 right there. And then how much does it go up? It looks like it goes up, I don't know, about 1, but let's see. We have to plug it in. So the easiest thing to do is plug the 3/2 back into the original equation. I can use this formula over here, but I'm going to go ahead and plug it back in. We go 3. What do I do? Oh, do I have more down here? Do we have more down here? Yeah. Plug 3/2 back in. So up here, there it is. We put a 3/2 here and square it, and we put a 3/2 here. So 3/2 squared, that's 9/4. 9/4 times 1/2 is 9/8. Oh, there's 9/8. Look at that. Negative times positive is negative. 3 times 3 is 9. And negative 2 times 2 is 4. So I got negative 9/4 is the middle term, and then I got the plus 2 at the end. And then I don't think I do any more fraction math out for you. I just add that all up, which ends up being 7/8, which is why you use the formula instead of just guesstimating from the graph. I would have been wrong. If I put 1 in here, I'd be wrong. 7/8 is right. So what? Oh, and so now the vertex switching it from standard form, that's standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c, that's standard form, to vertex form. Please see the a's stay the same. I didn't have to go refigure out the a's. The a is the same a. And then we figured out the negative 3/2. That's not this negative 3/2. That's the opposite of this 3/2. Okay, so we had to figure that h out. So it's x minus h quantity squared. And then the plus 7/8 is the plus k. All right, so that's that one. Now that one was pretty out of control with all the fractions. I know you guys are not big fans of fractions, but they're for your friends. But here we go. All right, in this one, A, B, and C are a lot nicer numbers. A is 1, B is negative 6, and C is 8. All right, fine. So negative B over 2A. So the opposite of negative 6 is 6. And then 2a, 2 times 1 is 2. And so 6 divided by 2 is 3. So the vertex of this parabola is at 3, the x-coordinate of the vertex. To find out the k, the y-coordinate of the vertex, I suggest you plug it back in. Just go back in and plug it in. What do we got? 3 squared, 9. And then negative 6 times 3. Oh, that's negative 18 plus 8. And then when I add them all together, 9 minus 18, that's negative 9. And then a negative 9 plus an 8 gives me a negative 1. So the vertex of this parabola is at 3, negative 1. Oh, look, the vertex is at 3, negative 1. Now, I didn't write it out here, but I'm going to say it. Come on, get out of here. So that means the vertex form for this line would be a times x minus h quantity squared plus k. So the a is 1, so I could put a 1 out front. Then inside the parentheses, I got x minus 3. So x minus 3 squared, and then minus 1. And that would be the vertex form for this one. Okay, I'm going to say that's enough for that. Thank you.